Hello, welcome to Bourbon and House. My name is Tristan Blair. I'm here at Eleve in Walnut Creek, California. And tonight I am reviewing the George Stagg Jr., otherwise known as the Stagg Jr., should I say. They reserved the George T. Stagg for the official Stagg. This is a new release, released in very recent years. This is the same bourbon as the George T. Stagg, but it's aged about half. In fact, it's a little under 10 years, between 9 and 10 years. The George T. Stagg is around 15 to 16. This is about between 9 and 10, so significantly less in bourbon years especially. That's almost a whole lifetime for a bourbon. About 5 years-ish, a little bit over. The reason they started distilling this is because, releasing this is because there was such a high demand for George T. Stagg, coming out only once or twice a year. Most stores only getting it once, if that at all. So they started releasing this for around $50. The George T. Stagg will go for about $80, depending where you buy it from. But this is about $50, so a little bit more affordable, significantly younger. Ironically, it's actually higher than last year. This is from 2013 at 134.4, so it's about 6 proof higher than its 15-year-old brother. So very interesting. But yeah, besides that, there's not much else I can tell you. It's again distilled at Buffalo Trace, along with it's the same stuff as George T. Stagg, but much younger. So they just pop a barrel open 5 years sooner, pour it out, we get it. So let's get into it. From the bottle, it looks about black, but it's not quite that dark. Definitely got a very, very, very nice color to it, though. Kind of a golden brown color. I'm really not good with color schemes. I'll be the first to admit it, and you guys have probably noticed. I can't. I need almost a color palette. I really can't. You know, these guys have all these creative names for colors, and I try and mimic those and remember, but it's whatever. Personally, color can be very deceiving for bourbons, especially, I wouldn't say barrel strength bourbons, but there's some bourbons that are very light that are amazing. I'll say it this way, that are amazing, and some that are very dark that clearly don't seem like they'd be dark. The darker bourbons I feel people go for, people think those are going to have more character, they're aged longer, they're going to taste better, you get more out of it. It's not necessarily the case. With the barrel strength bourbons, all of them are going to be very dark, being that they're not watered down, they're uncut, so they're automatically going to be significantly darker than their younger counterparts or siblings. But color is definitely not something that I'm huge on. Had I a better color scheme, I probably would be bigger on it. I'm just not. So let's get into this. This younger expression from Stagg is definitely got a little bit of a sharper nose. You definitely get that cinnamon. You definitely get the cedar, the redwood tree. Some pine. I get more pine with this one. Vanilla, caramel. Definitely get caramel. Banana. Definitely a caramel chocolates, a caramel chew kind of, like a caramel chewed candy. Let's get into the palate. This expression definitely has more menthol up front. I feel that that's because it's much younger, hasn't had enough time to mature. It definitely got a very oily mouthfeel. Incredibly thick, incredibly thick. Viscosity is definitely there. Tons of brown sugar, molasses. I definitely would compare this on a similar level. Not quite there, but similar to the Elijah Craig barrel strength. Definitely get some shelled nuts. That's definitely occurring theme to the Stagg. Some creme brulee. Definitely get creme brulee. Some custard, like vanilla custard. Yeah, definitely get the custard. A creamy custard, thick with milk. Buttermilk, definitely butter, a lot of butter with it. It's almost, you get some salt with this, like a salted caramel. It's almost astringent, but it's definitely in check. Again, back to the fact that it's so young. I'm comparing this to the George T. Stagg only because it's natural, but all of these themes in the palate are definitely significant factors that show that it is a much younger expression. Once you've had the George T. Stagg, it's only natural to compare, so I'm going to do it. Woody on the back palate. You definitely get a medium burn. Menthol is definitely there. Cinnamon, you get nutmeg. A lot of nutmeg. A lot of sea salt. I want to say it's sea salt. Sea salt, you get a crackery dustiness to it. When you breathe in, it's almost like there's smoke. It's like you shoot a saltine cracker and you're breathing in. Very, there's a lot going on. Very chewy, oily bourbon. The finish is tons of chocolate, barrelwood, char. You get that alcohol taste. Going back to the George T. Stagg, I think you get that alcohol taste because it's so, it's not as mature. I won't say immature, but it's not as mature. You definitely get a lot of unsalted butter. So the saltiness from the palate definitely doesn't go to the finish, but you get that milky, buttery texture of the finish. Absolutely great deal for $50. Don't know if I would buy this again, but it's definitely something to have. It's definitely something to drink on more occasions as opposed to drinking the George T. Stagg, which is much harder to get. Yeah, besides that, it's a great buy. I would recommend it. Rate this around probably, because it's a barrel strength, I'm going to rate this at a high 8, probably 8.8. Definitely good with a cigar. I'd recommend any barrel strength bourbon with cigar. Yeah. Leave it at that. Cheers.